I love doing music. I love it so much. But sometimes it's kind of like exercise too. Movement, my daily movement. So our Sunday lesson today, it's based off of this book series that Taylor actually introduced me to a few years ago. And it's cool, I can say I've known you now for a few years. Known you a few years. Yeah. But the author is a man named Paul Selig. And he writes these books that are just about the truth of who we are. Like who we really, really are in these bodies. That we're a soul using this body for an adventure on planet Earth right now. We're a soul, pure energy and potential divine expression. And we're on this planet for an adventure. Being on Earth is an adventure. So, this is actually going to end up being a series of a life of knowing and worth based on his book, A Book of Knowing and Worth. And today it'll be about I know who I am. I know who I am. And sometimes we may know who we are, but sometimes when we say we know who we are, it's not actually like the truth of who we are. We're not always accurate when we are claiming a status for ourselves. Sometimes we believe that we are someone based on the conditions that we are experiencing in our lives. So we may believe we are someone based on the current situation that we're in. Like right now, I say, I'm the minister. I'm a minister. I'm a tall woman with red hair. It's who I am. It's who I am. Till I change my hair color, right? Okay, so some of this is changeable. Some of who we believe we are is based on what we learned in our families. And, there are some families, and my family was kind of this way. Like, if they raised you in a certain religion, if you were a little kid in a certain religion, you needed to just stay in that religion your entire life and put your children into that religion, and then your grandchildren. Some families in particular cultures want their children to grow up and marry other people in the same culture. Right? So sometimes we believe we are somebody based on the idea of who our family thinks we are or who our family thinks we should be. Sometimes we believe we are the institutions that we buy into. One of my favorite shows has a guy in the show, the character, who went to Cornell University. And every other thing he says is like, well, when I was in Cornell University, So he's really, that's how he kept expressing himself even 10, 20 years after he graduated from college. Now this is neither here nor there, whatever we're choosing to claim as who we really are. I feel happy when I say I am a minister. I feel happy when I say I'm a mom. I play guitar. I'm married to this guy. That all makes me happy. But it still can lead us into leading or living a limited version of our lives. It can still limit us. And so with all of this, it's kind of a crapshoot. Like if you're basing who you think you are on your family or the institutions in your life. Like maybe we'll get lucky and we'll like what we say we are, but maybe we're not lucky. Maybe then we feel more limited. So today, what I'm going to be talking about is knowing who we really are and how that affects us. Why is this a big deal? Why is this a big deal? I know who I am. I know who I am. This is our claim about ourselves. We're claiming something when we say this. I know who I am. Now, what we claim about ourselves determines our belief in our worthiness. I know who I am, and if I could say, well, I'm a wife, I'm a mom, right? Back when I was a massage therapist, I used to identify with that all the time. I'm a massage therapist, right? And I felt pretty good about that. But what about if you don't like what's going on in your life? What if somebody says, I hate my job? Or what if somebody's saying, I'm going through a divorce. I don't have any luck with women. I don't have any luck with men. Right? Then that's a different claiming, and it's going to affect their feelings of worthiness. So what we are claiming becomes our words. How we are using our words becomes our experience in our life, becomes how we do our life. You know, when I first got into massage therapy, you'll probably remember this, but like the first year I was so annoying about it. I was like, yeah, I'm a massage therapist. I'm a massage therapist. David would just be like, we're just getting gas. The guy doesn't care. I'd be in Starbucks, right? Well, I'm a massage therapist and I'm about to give a massage. Do you have like a special coffee for massage therapy? I was like, so because I'm a massage therapist, I'll take a vanilla latte, right? Like I had to put it into everything. Like I spoke about it all the time because I was excited about it. It was happy. But what if somebody had a difficulty in their life? Like what if a person was abandoned or felt abandoned as a baby because maybe the dad went to jail and maybe the mom was a drug addict, so this baby was immediately put into foster care. And the baby went through the system, from one family to another family to another family. So they're going to lack the experience of belonging. They will lack the experience of bonding with other people. And so as they grow into adulthood, they may have a whole different outlook on life. They're not going to trust people. They're going to see everything as temporary. That will affect how they show up in life. But all of that they went through, that's not the divine truth of who they are. That's an experience they had, but it's not their divine truth. Just like me being a massage therapist, as fun as that wasn't the divine truth of who I am. I haven't done a massage in 7 years, right? I mean, I did it for 20 years, but eventually that will be over half my life. I know, I'm not any good at math, but nobody cares. Okay, so we're claiming who we are with our words. We're claiming our experiences because our words turn into experiences. But what are we claiming? What are we claiming? Are we claiming life is really hard and I never can seem to get this right? Or are we claiming I am an infinite expression of pure source energy. I am here to be on this planet right here and right now. Things are lighting up down here right now, right? Everything's lighting up. Like stuff's happening. Stuff is happening and I get to be here. Like, is that our claim? I get to be here. As we're going through all of this, as we're going through an evolution of consciousness, I get to be here. I actually hear people tell me, I'm so done with this place. When I go this time, I'm not coming back. I'm like, well, that's sad for you, whether you believe in reincarnation or not. Like, I happen to. But I'm like, I love this planet. I love this place. To me, this is an adventure. What are we claiming? What are we claiming about ourselves? There's a way to know. There's actually a way to know what we are claiming. Okay, what we are claiming. And that's what's happening in our lives. What are we demonstrating in our lives? So we're going to look at how we demonstrate things. Now, no matter what we're claiming, we're always inviting something into our lives. We're always welcoming an experience into our life. Now, sometimes if we're in victim consciousness, we're welcoming in, and I know it sounds funny to say welcoming because we're not really welcoming. We're not like saying, oh, here it comes, my victim experience. It's an unconscious thing that's happening. Welcoming is allowing something. We allow it. And so, like for me, I know when I go into victim consciousness, I'm not thinking, gosh, I really want to show up as a victim right now because that would just change everything for me. When I'm in victim consciousness, I don't know that I'm in it. And then my brain, though, because I'm claiming my victimhood, then my brain is like, oh, I'm going to show you everywhere where you're a victim. That's what our brain does. Our brain seeks to prove us right, even if it's a lie about ourselves. All right, so we're basically inviting things in. Florence Scovel Shinn, author of The Game of Life and How to Play It, she says, man can only be what he sees himself to be, and only attain what he sees himself attaining. Right? So we are creating in our lives only what we think we can. We want to be pretty sure that we can do something before we do it. So we're claiming experiences through our belief about who we are. But is that experience, are we claiming, like, well, I can't do this. This is too big. I need somebody else to do this for me. I can't even imagine how I would do that. Or are we claiming, well, I am a divine expression and I'm created in the image and likeness of my creator, and so I'm meant to be a creator in my life, and I may not know how to create something, but if I got the idea, if I got inspired, well, it means that I'm being guided, and if I get inspired, I'll also be given the means of creating it. So if I'm just a good listener and I just take action in faith, well, this big thing that I can't imagine how I would do it, eventually I'll work it out. So what are we claiming? We claim our limitations by affirming limitation in our life. Okay, I have another funny story about this, and you guys have probably heard it, because, well, not you two, but so I was a minister for a little church, Bright Star, back in the like 2012, 13, 14, 15, and one day, like my kids, and Dave, before he got like a job where he had to work some Sundays, the kids were always there with me helping set up Sunday church and prepping for Sunday, because we were using a life coach's office. So we'd set up the chairs, we'd clean up all the wine bottles from the night and the empty wine glasses from the night before. It was weird, but they were having a good time there. But the kids would help me do this. And so one Sunday, Dave had to work, but my aunt wanted to come to church. And so she came, and the kids were there, and after church we went out to lunch, and then we went up to our house. Now my aunt had a walker, and so I couldn't pull in our driveway. So the kids, I just kind of parked on the street, but the kids got her out of the car, up the driveway, and into the house. Then I parked the car, and I look in the back seat. And I've got my guitar from service. I've got my basket of stuff from service. Also, all the leftovers from lunch, all the doggy bags. And so I'm like, great, I always have to do everything. I always have to bring in all the doggy bags from the car. That's always on me, always on me. And I'm grumbling, but I put my guitar, it's like a backpack case. I put my guitar on, get my basket up, pile all the food in the basket. I go into the house, I'm grumbling, but when I get in the house, I make sure I'm grumbling a lot louder so everybody hears me. I'm putting stuff, and I'm like, I have to do everything. This is all stuck on me. But Adam and Macy come walking into the kitchen where I'm at, and Macy says, you know, you could have just asked for our help. Adam says, did you even listen to your sermon today? Which was on asking. My sermon was on asking and receiving. But see, I was claiming limitation. I was claiming it for myself. I was experiencing it. I was experiencing that, even though it wasn't true. I didn't have to do everything that morning when we got to the church. My kids helped me set up stuff. So it's true in my experience. It's true in my perception. It's what I'm focusing on, this one part, this one little tiny area of my life. I even got up this morning, and I was thinking that. And I was like, okay, Deanna, like, you don't need to go there. You know that you do not have to do everything in this house, because if you did, it would actually be a really clean house, so I'm just saying. I don't do everything. I hardly do anything. I just like to say that I get stuck doing everything. Okay? Now, we're making a claim, and it's not necessarily true, but it will feel true in our own experience, even though people around us may think, what are you talking about? You have so many blessings in your life. Like, what's going on? Why can't you see it? But a lot of what we decide to claim, we're learning everything. Actually, everything we decide to claim, we're learning from past experiences. Now, we may have picked it up in childhood. Like in my childhood, like if you weren't a Southern Baptist, you're going to hell, right? That's what I learned, right? That was because that was deeply important in with my grandmother and her generation there. And so that was like something like that I was terrified of, and God's always watching you. And like, you know, tell that to a girl, 11 or 12-year-old girl, like going into the bathroom to shower. Like, that is scary. That is really scary. And I would pray to not be watched right then and there, right? I was like, please don't stare at me. Like, my body's doing all these different things, okay? So, how about disease runs in my family. That's something else that we learn. It's like we accept it in our history. I have an aunt who she has some kind of condition, but she calls it our family's disease. I'm like, there's nobody else that has this. Like, what family? Like from the invisible family that you have? Like, that we don't believe in? I don't know. Like, I don't know where it came from. We claim things from certain conditions, and currently happening, we will claim things. Well, I can't do what I wanted to do because of the weather's too hot, right? I can't do anything when it's summertime. I hate my job. Like, that's not me. But I hear people once in a while say that. I can't start my own business, it's too hard, right? We hear people say that because, like, I never imagined it. Like, when I became a massage therapist, I didn't imagine I was starting a business. I thought I was just going to work in a chiropractic office. It didn't occur to me actually what I was doing. I expected the chiropractor to take care of me by referring people to me. So I didn't even think about that. So we know what we're claiming by what's showing up in our lives. What is showing up? What is demonstrating itself in our lives? If we are stuck in the limitation, in that spiral of thinking, where we do believe that who we are the difficult conditions that we've experienced, and the traumas from our past, and the things other people have done to us, something beautiful can show up on our doorstep and we won't see it. We won't have awareness of it. We'll miss opportunities, right? If we're thinking, the universe never has my back, everything always works out so easy for everybody else, but nothing ever happens good to me. Okay, we'll miss out. But see, our true nature, who we really, really are, our true nature is not about that stuff. Sorry, I have a lot of wild hair. Our true nature is about how we handle stuff. Our true nature is not about the conditions we're stuck in. Our true nature is how we stand in our divine truth and call for solutions. So the conditions don't limit us. The conditions don't hold us back. So we claim things by affirming them in our life. We claim things. And we want to claim greater things, right? We want to affirm that we are greater than what we can imagine while we're here in these bodies. And we want to claim greater things in our lives. I am a soul. I am a soul on this planet right now at the perfect time. And I am so excited to be here. And though it's kind of scary out here, I know somebody who recently went whitewater rafting. Who was that? Was that somebody here?
I hope not.
Okay, somebody went whitewater rafting. Oh, Dawn. Not Dawn. You're Dawn. Matt. And I'm like, water rafting sounds really scary. He was like, it was. But he had so much fun after it was over. It's like, wow, that was really invigorating. That was invigorating. And so, what are we claiming right now? Right? I am a soul on this planet, and I am having an adventure. I am inviting new opportunities. I am inviting expansion and growth into my life. I am inviting bigger ways to step into faith. I'm stepping into faith, I'm used to it, but now it all feels little. I want a big way to step into faith now. Big. I want to discover again how I'm capable of doing things that I don't always believe I'm capable of. And we do that by stepping into faith. Our experience then in our life reflects our worth. It reflects our worth. Are we celebrating where we are right now? Or are we ruminating where we are right now? And if you think about everything going on in our country and how we are, we're kind of divided by politics right now. We've got half the country celebrating, half the country ruminating. But you know what? Anybody could change their mind. And they could be like, why am I celebrating? I'm going to ruminate now. Or why am I ruminating? I should celebrate. All the conditions out here are changeable. When we discover, when we remember, when we claim the truth of who we are, we celebrate any condition, because any condition is just another opportunity to call forth that powerful creator that resides within us, that powerful creator, the power that creates worlds, that's at work in each and every one of us. Okay, so we claim something. We claim something. We claim who we are through our I aming. Right? I am what? I am really upset about what all this happened. Like this is gonna crush my life. Wow, I am like, I got woken up here and like, so what am I gonna do about it? I am an expression of God in this world. Right? So that means I am, because God is all things and that means me, I am designed to receive inspiration so I can be guided on what to do next in this condition that I don't necessarily like. Like we don't have to like all the conditions, but we're focusing on what we are, what we really are. Okay, so to invite greater things into our life, we claim it first. Okay, remember, you cannot have something in your life if you don't believe that you can have it. You cannot be the next best version of yourself if you don't believe you can be it. So we just want to ask ourselves, am I willing? Am I willing to align myself with possibilities? Am I willing to receive something bigger? Am I willing to embody bigger faith to do this bigger thing than what I have ever done before? So when I get through it, I feel really, really good about what I just did. Okay, so the next thing then, so part of knowing who we are, the truth of who we are, it's also taking responsibility for our thoughts. And then the thoughts, of course, they lead to actions. So we're taking responsibility for our thoughts and our actions. We want to ask ourselves, okay, am I being a bystander in my life right now? Am I being a bystander, waiting for somebody else to fix this thing in my life that I don't like, and while it's broken, I can't be happy, but as soon as somebody else does something about it, then I can be happy? Are we putting responsibility for our happiness on somebody out there, on something out there? Or are we taking responsibility ourselves, deciding, I'm a participant with life? Because I am an expression of life. And that means I call forth the good. I act on my inspirations and I take actions in faith. I participate in this life of mine. Like no matter what's going on out here, I am a participant and it's on me. And when I'm participating, when I'm aligning with this great power at work within me, like then I can do stuff about what's going on in my life that might bug me, that I want to change. I'll know. Can I change it? I'll change it. If I can't change it, I rise above it. Right? That's on me. Now, taking responsibility doesn't mean we take responsibility for everything. Like for everything that's ever happened in the world, or if somebody's done something to us, we don't have to take responsibility for what they did. We take responsibility for how we show up starting now. Right now. That's all. That's what we do. We take responsibility starting now. And then we do our best with what we've got starting now. We don't worry about what we did yesterday. Don't worry about that. It's done. It's in our history. We take responsibility starting now. If I had a watch, I would go, now. Okay. So what are we thinking? What are we claiming? What are we claiming? This is too hard for me. I'm really tired. Like everything's a struggle for me. Everybody else does it easier and it's hard for me. Or are we affirming, okay, I've got this. I have got this because there's something great at work in me, a tremendous power of good. I am a love amplifier. I am a grace generator. I have got this. I may not know how it's going to all work out, but there's that within me that knows what to do and how to do it, and it compels me to act on what it knows. We notice when we are in lack thinking. We notice when we are putting responsibility outside of us, when we're abdicating authority, because it doesn't feel good. And usually then what comes along with that? Blame, complaining about the thing we're blaming. So we know, it's like, whoa, I just went into lack thinking. That's what I did. We take responsibility right here, right now. That didn't feel good. What can I do? What can I do? How does the greatest good on this planet, how does it want to work through me right here and now? Now see, we're doing this to empower ourselves, but we're not just doing this for ourselves, right? We only become capable of greater things through our interactions with each other. right? You've heard it's like it's easy to love people that are easy to love, right? We don't grow. Like we're not growing, we're not expanding our consciousness, we're not raising our consciousness, we're not embodying our Christ nature. When you watch the sad puppy commercial where Sarah McLachlan's singing about the angels, and the puppies are all like, got the real big eyes. If you have compassion and you feel sad at that commercial, that didn't raise your consciousness. I mean, you may decide, I'm going to send them a donation, but when we have compassion, when we show unconditional love to somebody who's already easy to love, we're not growing. We grow. We expand our consciousness. We call forth the Christ through us, as us. When we can show compassion to the guy we don't like, the guy who has those weird behaviors that we judge. It's like, and he voted for the other guy. I don't like him. You get what you deserve. We don't grow until we have compassion for that guy. We don't grow. We're not actually embodying compassion, true compassion, until we can give it to somebody we don't want to give it to. Wouldn't it be easier to judge them? But see, what would the divine working through us for us as us do? Would it judge? No. The divine sees the divine in all things. So when we are growing, really embodying the truth of who we are, we're loving that person that's even hard to love. We're having compassion for that person that's hard to love. We become empowered when we do that. And you know what empowered people do? They empower people. Does that make sense? Can you hear that? Empowered people empower people. We become a rising tide. We become a force for change, a force for good. From Galatians 6:2, bear one another's burdens and so fulfill the law of Christ. This is about seeing the truth of who someone else is. That's all. Even when we don't like them, right? We recognize maybe somebody needs a hand up. Maybe somebody needs a kind word. Maybe somebody needs some comfort. We don't like them. We choose to comfort them anyway. We choose to see beyond that. We're going to let go of our judgments. We're going to see the light that they are. So that's when we're claiming the truth of others. We're seeing in that person that we don't like, we're still seeing the light of God. And we can't do that unless we're seeing the truth of who we are. So when we see the truth of who someone else is, we're likely seeing the truth of who we are. Okay, but we have to demonstrate this with other people. We can't have a person in our life that we don't like and just be like, oh, well, I'll pray for you. We have to demonstrate it. Okay, demonstration. I get uncomfortable around homeless people. I do. It's sad because part of it is like, oh my gosh, that could happen to me, that could happen to my family. Or maybe like if you want to give some money to a homeless person, like I've been yelled at by homeless people because sometimes they're people that are like in a way of life and maybe they need their medication and they don't have their medication. And so I was yelled at and just weird, strange things. They yelled at me, I didn't take it personally, but it makes me uncomfortable. So I'll hand them the money and I'll try to tell myself, okay, I see the truth of God in them. I see the God in them. I'm seeking to see God in them, even though it's kind of, it makes me feel uncomfortable. But I have a hard time demonstrating it. Now, I have a girlfriend, and she walks among the homeless people. She walks among them, and she'll take food, she'll take socks, she'll sit down with them, she'll ask them questions. She'll break bread with them and she'll learn about them. And then it's like, okay, see you, She was demonstrating that she saw the truth of God in them, that they're in an experience, but she's not judging their experience. She's not fearful of that experience. She's not feeling sorry for them. She just sees them as another light. In a disguise, right? I think that was Mother Teresa. Jesus, I see Jesus in all of his terrible disguises. That's how she saw the people that she served in India. Okay, so bear one another's burdens and so fulfill the law of Christ. This is an interesting sentence, really, because fulfill the law of Christ. Law is that God is all things. God is all things, everything that's ever been and everything that's yet to be, and it creates through all of its creations. That's the law. That means that person that we don't like, the person that scares us, and the people that we love, everybody on this planet is the divine, and it is expressing itself through them. Right? God is all things, and that means all of us. Okay, Christ, the name Christ. I didn't know this, but it's actually not a New Testament thing specifically. Christ means logos. Logos is the word, the activity of God. Right? You've heard in the beginning was the word. Okay, that word is about creation with intention and purpose. Christ is the activity of God in our body. Christ is the activity of God in each other. Okay, Christ is not a puppy. Okay, where a puppy is an expression of God. But Christ is the activity of God in a person with consciousness, calling forth the good for themselves and for others. It's all potentials of being. You could call the Christ in us. You probably heard the Christ light. Okay, the Christ in each of us is the divine light in a person. The divine light made conscious. The divine light expressed. Okay, so that's what that is. We're fulfilling the law. That God is all things, and it expresses. We see it expressing through that person, and we are expressing it through ourselves. That's kind of big, isn't it? Like, yeah, that is big. That is big. So, like the name Jesus Christ, it actually should be Christ as Jesus, right? Or like we like to say Christ as Yeshua. Christ as Jenny. Christ as Taylor. Christ as. Because it's the divine presence. Okay, so Christ as us. So it's our charge. It is our charge to change our thoughts, to be empowered, and to be the example in this world. It's our charge to know the truth of who we really are. So when we say, I know who I am, we know we're talking about ourselves, the Christ as us. We're talking about the Christ as us, that divine light as us. Here's our affirmation, our call to action. So our affirmation. I claim my divinity and I celebrate my humanity. Let's say that together. I claim my divinity and I celebrate my humanity. Right? Whatever conditions are presenting themselves in your life, when you claim your divinity, celebrate your humanity, you become empowered. And you're empowered through your choices. When you make a choice that honors the divine within you, you are empowered. Okay, just like if you make a choice that doesn't honor the divine within you, then you feel disempowered. It doesn't feel good. So we make choices that honor the divine within us. We claim our truth, which then we call forth solutions and we call forth great ideas. So our words matter. What we are claiming in our life, it matters. Our I-aming matters. Our I-aming, what we are I-aming about matters. Now in your life right now, what is one thing that you would change if you could? And what is one thing that you would claim about yourself if you believed that it could be possible? Okay, like for example, I never thought that I could be what you call an entrepreneur, right? But now I don't even, that's like, oh, I could do it. Like if I figured out what to focus on, I see it as a potential. I see it as a possibility. So what is one thing that you would claim about yourself if you believed it could be true, that if you believed it could be possible? Now what's happening is if there is that one thing in your life that you wish you could change, if there's the one thing about yourself that you want to claim but you don't believe is true, what's happening is you're just not standing in your authority. That's all. You're just not believing it, which means you're not claiming the truth of who you are. You're in a condition or an old belief. a stuck condition, right? Like from our childhood or something, I don't know. But it's just something, it's just a condition, and we can change that by what we decide we're really claiming. Masaru Emoto is a scientist, a Japanese scientist. Yeah, you all probably heard of him. But he did these experiments where he would take a water sample and put them on a bunch of different slides, little drops. He would label each slide with a word. Love, hate, you're stupid, beautiful, like all different words. Then he froze the water. And the water was affected by the word. The water was affected by the word. And he took pictures then of the crystals that the water formed. Okay, check this out. It's a little blurry, but love. The water labeled in love made a beautiful crystal. Thank you makes the most beautiful crystal of all. But what about I hate you? It couldn't even form a crystal, and it's all from the same sampling of water. Okay, that's not like one's from Avion water and then another one is from the pond out in your yard, right? It's all the same sample of water. I don't know exactly how much our body is water, right? Here between 70 and 85%. I mean, yeah? Okay. Yeah, so I'm waiting for the approval here. I'm waiting for the confirmation. So yeah, our claiming, our words, our I aming. What are we creating in our own body? Here's another one that I thought was interesting. Music. Water has a taste in music. Heavy metal music, it had trouble forming a crystal, but there's still like a kind of a circle thing there. Bach, air for the G string, made a beautiful crystal. Look at that crystal for Edelweiss. Edelweiss. When I play Edelweiss on guitar, I cry because it's so beautiful. And look at the beautiful crystal that it made. So what we're saying, our words, they're creating things within our physical body, not just our brain, our physical body. So thinking and speaking trigger an act of creation in our lives based on what we are claiming about ourselves. Are we claiming to be a bystander? We have no control. Are we claiming to be a participant in our life because there's something great at work through each and every one of us and through all the conditions in our lives? When, remember, God is all things, everywhere, everywhere. Everything that's ever been, everything that's yet to be. That means conditions. That means events. That means world things that are happening. And when we remember the truth of who we are, we call it forth in other things. That's how we get solutions. That's where brilliant solutions come from, because God is in all the details everywhere. So we're aligning with a solution for that thing, and God already is in that thing and in us. Okay? So we're choosing all the time. We're claiming. J.K. Rowling said something I thought was really cool. Words are, in my not so humble opinion, our most inexhaustible source of magic, capable of both inflicting injury and remedying it. I think actually Dumbledore said that in the 7th book. Okay? But yeah, words. I know who I am. That is our claim. What are we claiming? Because what we claim determines our worthiness. And then it demonstrates in our life. And if we're not in our truth, we just get stuck with more of the same. If we're not in our truth, we get stuck in that spiral of being stuck in all the same places that we're always stuck in. But when we are in our truth, I know who I am. I am a divine expression walking around on this planet right now. I am the activity of God, created with intention and purpose to be part of what's happening on the planet right now. I'm here at the right place in the right time. And this is exciting for me because I'm calling forth greater and greater and greater through me all the time. When we truly, truly understand who we are, that's how we are creating heaven on earth. So until next time, remember, you are divinely designed to do all of this. You are the activity of God walking around on this planet. In everything you do, you are blessed. And so it is.
So it is. Amen.
Thank you. All right, we have a meditation song for you.